Hi guys, it's Amy and you have found Amy Loves Crochet. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate when you click on my video. My channel is just exploding and I cannot send enough thanks out into the YouTube universe. You guys just make me smile so much every single day and I can't say thank you enough. Thank you so much for making this so fun. So I started on some hats, and if you saw my last video, I only ended up with 5 out of that project. And I learned a really great new stitch. So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out. But this hat journey began with Juan the Yarn Addict. And Juan hits a certain place in my heart from a nostalgic point. He reminds me so much of the very first friend I ever had. I have pictures, my parents had pictures of Sean and I growing up together from the age of a year and a half, 2 years old. And Sean, you know, was my first brother, my first outside of my family person. So when Juan exploded onto the scene and he reminded me so much of Sean, I just became in love with him. And so my name is Amy and I am a Juan addict. So I started on a little journey of his with some hats. And you know, like I've said before, I sit down and sort of sit down with a tutorial and write it all out in Amy language so that it's a pattern I can follow, so that I can work on them later, work on them, you know, repeatedly, or maybe just get the feel for it and then decide that I'm not interested. So like I started watching a couple from him, from Juan, that just, they were great hats, but they weren't anything kind of new to me. It wasn't like what I was looking for at that moment. Because, you know, we all have to find that perfect inspiration. There's a gajillion hat projects out there, so why pick one over the other? So when I found this next one, he calls the Cambridge Knights hat. I made one and lost my mind. So I didn't count how many I've got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And I've been getting 2 from each skein of my sweet rolls. So I've got another 2 to make. I wanted to make my thumbnail first, and then I can make my last 2 hats. I have a little bit of remnants of other colors depending on how the colorway plays out. And you'll see that I kind of jumped around a bit. So this is the one that I'm going to share with you. The Cambridge Knights that I've lost my mind for. And I did change the count a little bit. I'll rewind a little bit more. So the first project from Juan that I created for this kind of little jumble of hats was called the Crown Jewels beanie. And he used a 6mm hat, and he says to use a small 5 or a large 4. So I did have some small 5 in my stash, and what I picked up, and I thought for a hat called the Crown Jewels, what better yarn to use than gemstone? So I made the hat, you know, without changing the pattern at all. Just kind of changed up some colorway a little bit because what I had was some remnants, and I didn't. When I started making the hat, I decided that he's got these puff stitches in there. So y'all know that if somebody's got Amy making puff stitches, there's an addiction there. Juan, you made me do puff stitches. But I wanted, okay, so let's just show it to you. So here is the Crown Jewels. It looks like a little crown. You've got that upper seam running along there. And then these are your little jewels, as it were. So I kind of wanted to play with the color a little bit to make those stand out and pop. I didn't have enough of either one, so I guess you can wear it this way and have some yellow jewels on that bottom row, or you can wear it this way and have some purple jewels on that bottom row. But yeah, if you haven't checked out, I'll link the patterns of the hats that I worked on down below. So this was the first one that I completed. I won't say it's the first one I started because when he said a small 5 or a thick 4, I knew that I had some of this Bernat pop. There's my band. Bernat pop. and it is a rather thick for it, in my opinion. This is a little bit older from my stash. I've had it a bit. And I had a bunch of Bernat pop at one time, and so now I'm just kind of working through the scraps of those and trying to put them together to create a project. So anyway, so I started with the white like this, doing the crown jewels, and I specifically color coded to put the brown in. And I kind of wasn't feeling it. So I put this one down like this one, like I had only gotten about this far, and I put it down and I picked up the gemstone and I worked with that. And I thought that was really floating my boat as far as getting the hat to match its given name. So I do believe that this looks like crown jewels, and I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. I don't know if gemstone is Red Heart is still putting out gemstone. When I purchased these, it was from a clearance. So if you've got any in your stash, it could look something like this if you played with some different colorways. And again, I've got 3 different colorways here. I have Lemon Jade, I have Peridot, and I have Emerald. So out of the 3 of those, I was able to come up with a really striking crown jewels beanie. So thank you for that, Juan. So then I decided to go ahead and finish my, this is Bernat Pop in the colorway Hot Chocolate. And so I decided to go ahead and finish that one up. Not thrilled with the way that the color change here happened again, but I just wanted to get through it. And again, you get the option of whether you want that light brown on that bottom row or that darker brown on the bottom row. So I like Bernat Pop, and I had a full skein of the Hot Chocolate plus some more. This is all still scraps from other Hot Chocolate. So I still have all of this pale light color to put to use, but this was the end of the actual chocolate from the Hot Chocolate. All right, here is the Crown Jewels beanie on. You can see that brim that runs around the top for the top of your crown. Very cute. But a little bit big on me. I know that when I make Juan hats, if I want to make them for myself, I'm going to have to go down to a 5mm hook. So where's the start? Trying to find the edge on this one. There it is. A little bit big on me. A little bit big. So when I finished those 2 crown jewel beanies, I said, what am I going to get into next? So I started looking at, he has a backgammon beanie and a metro beanie, and both of those were just kind of standard stitches for me. I wasn't, you know, excited or going to learn anything new from those. But when I picked up this Cambridge Nights beanie, I just lost my mind. So this is the rest of the, not the rest of, but I guess maybe the rest of that skein in the Hot Chocolate doing this Cambridge beanie. And it's in account. So I learned from a previous video for this hat called the Omni hat, or no, it's called a men's beanie from Omni Crochet. A stitch count of 11. Normally when we do a hat and we're doing the round, some people do 10, some people do 12 for their stitch counts. And as you increase, that's going to determine how big around your top is. So I decided, because even with a stitch count of 60, sometimes they're a little bit big on me. So I decided to take notes from the Omni hat and reduce this pattern down to 11 stitches instead of 12. So it changed up my ending to end with 55 instead of with 60. And that seemed to help me, because once I fit this hat, I went bananas, as you could see. So this was the first Omni hat that I made. And then I went back and I made one with some brown. So I know I just said that that was the last of the brown for the Crown Jewels, but I meant after I did this one too. But you can see it's alternating treble crochets down into the previous row, 2 below. Each one of these has a row of single crochets in between. And then you alternate a double crochet and the treble crochets that go down below. So if you haven't seen this pattern before, go ahead and check it out. Again, I will list it down below, and I lost my mind. So the rest of these, I just continued to go and go and go and go with the scraps that I had from Bernat Pop. I think these are all Bernat Pop. No, I'm a big fat liar. These are sweet rolls. Yeah, these are all a bunch of sweet rolls. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to read off all the colorways so that you can see as I'm going through the hats what colorways you might recognize. So, sweet rolls, like here is a solid sweet roll. I had a whole bunch of the green separately from all the other colors that I was working on. And so they are 100% acrylic. It's a worsted weight 4. There are 140 grams or 245 yards in each one of these. And they suggest, I think the suggestion's a 5.5 millimeter hook. So again, fat 4. Okay. So the colorways that you are about to see in my stack come from, or could possibly come from, Lavender Swirl. I had a bunch of that. There's all 3 of those. Another one of those. I thought I had a bunch more different ones than this. Birthday Cake Pop and Blackberry Swirl. So forgive if I've lost a band here or there, but okay, so I'm just going to start showing you. So sometimes I played with color, you know, picked a specific, again, these are all scraps. So I was just trying to make it work. Some good colorways. I did not mean to do like a Christmas looking one with a white along the bottom. It is kind of a cream color, so it's not quite white. This one, I was a little bit upset with myself. You can't really tell. This peach is a different grouping than this peach. And I thought I was going to run out of the peach and run into the next color to do some more changes down here after the blue, but that didn't work. And hopefully you can't tell that the peaches are 2 different colors. So then to get into my Lavender Swirl some, I love this colorway so much. I wish I had more of it. I love that one. And then this one with a little bit lighter of a stripe on it. I like that one as well. And then the final one where I was trying to use up all my different scraps. So we got purple, we got coral, we got off-white, we've got some pink, and then some brown down at the bottom. This one might be my favorite. Let's put that one on. Yay. I like that one. So yeah, as I said, so that was from all my scraps from all of the miscellaneous sweet rolls that we had. So at some point along my way, I bought a whole bunch of this sweet roll in this green color, and it's called Mint Swirl. Doesn't look mint at all to me, but there are 3 distinct colorways of green in here. Let me get a little closer. So you've got like this one that's got kind of a blue to it, and then this one sort of is more of a brown, and then this one is more sort of like a light, kind of with a yellowish in there. There's a good. So, you know, you get a different amount of each color of the green in all the different cakes. Even with the same colorway of the lot number, I mean, you could get, you know, 2 different skeins that have completely a different amount. Like this color green is the light color that I'm talking about. Some of them had a lot more of this color than the darker ones in here. This one's only got a little bit of this light green. So you never know how much of which of the color of green you're going to get in each skein. So I had, I think, 4 full skeins and then some scraps. And this is where I went a little bit crazy. So most of them, I just wanted to kind of run right through the skein and do whatever it was going to do. Some of them I did color control a little bit, like this one. I specifically wanted 1 stripe in each of the colors so that you could really see where it broke down into the next row of color. And again, I'll put these in the kitchen. This, you know, lack of natural light is just killing me. So most of them are just a combination of all of the 3 based on how it was running through the cake. And then some of them I specifically grabbed a different one and started, like this one had some more green of this color, and I specifically cut it off and wanted some more of that lighter color to give you some choices here. So you can kind of see, you know, like I had started some that were all dark on the top. I'm trying to show you them all too much. There's my striped one with the dark on top. And then there was one of them, I can't remember which one it is now. I did kind of color control a little bit, and I'll tell you what. So I'm working along, say for example, I'm working along in the dark green, and the color was going to change to this next color before the end of its row. Like I had maybe 3 or 4 more spikes to do down here, and it was already going to change color. So I didn't want it to yet. So I undid about half of that row and then crocheted a little bit tighter through it. And then I had enough to finish that row in the color that I wanted to, and then was able to, to change over for the next row. So sometimes there's a color control and sometimes there's not. Like here you see that it just changes from the green to the next color, and I didn't care. I just kept on going. So one of the things that I needed to make sure I was doing, because like I said, I went down to 55 in my increasing. I stopped at 55 stitches. You have to put one more extra in there because to get the trebles and the doubles to alternate, you need to have an even number. So when I was done with my 55 double crochets, I went to the first stitch and added an extra one so that I would have 56. Then your next row is going to be single crochets, so you do your 56 single crochets, and then when you go to alternate your treble crochet, there's that extra double crochet that you put in there from the previous round in there. So the other thing was that the hat calls for 20 rows altogether, and after my first couple I decided to stop at 19 because they were a little bit long. I did have a little bit space up in the top, and I decided to nix that last row just to kind of fit it a little bit better for myself. And again, I'm being selfish with these. I was making them to fit me. I was on a roll. I was stoked. On a roll, sweet roll. Ha ha. I was jamming on these and I could not stop. I love this pattern. I have talked before about, we all have that go-to pattern for a beanie, and the one that I like to use is what I call my Ruby Stedman hat. You guys know it as the Divine hat. And when I'm making hats and things aren't working and I need to kind of say, make a hat that works, I make that Ruby Stedman hat for myself because I know that that's what works with a 4.5 millimeter hook. This is going to be a new go-to for me because this works up a lot faster than that Divine hat. And the Divine hat is a lot of stitches. So each rotation, this one's only 55. That Divine hat, you end up doing 72 stitches, and that takes a lot longer. You don't think it is, but a little bit of change like that is going to make a lot of time difference for you in some cases. So I have found my new go-to as far as that that hat goes. This is called the Cambridge hat, or the Cambridge Nights beanie from Juan the Yarn Addict. Juan, I am addicted to you. I am a Juan addict. So, yeah, I kind of had fun with these and wanted to show you what a cuckoo I am with. How many hats did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I think I'll make of these before I'm done. And then maybe move on to something else. So that's what I've got to share with you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you try out this pattern because it is awesome and it feels so great. I love the texture to it. Have a wonderfully blessed day, guys. Please come back and see me again. Thank you. Bye-bye.